Do you think 200 miles per hour is reserved strictly for supercars and hypercars? Guess what? This list of top 6 cars will get you up to 200 miles per hour, all for well under $50,000.
Welcome back to the channel, everybody. Mark with exoticcarplayplace, and today...
So there was a time when 200 miles per hour took serious power and, even more importantly, serious money. Cars in the late 80s and 90s, such as the Porsche 959, was able to get close to 200 miles per hour. Then the Ferrari F40 came along. That one cracked 201 miles per hour. And then as well, you also had the Lamborghini Countach, which didn't quite make 200, but it was close enough to 190 plus miles per hour. All supercar status, all worth huge amounts of money then and even more today. So you don't have to spend that kind of money. You don't need $1 million paycheck to buy one of these cars that will do 200 miles per hour anymore. And this following list of 6 cars will get you to 200 miles per hour should you choose. So the first one on my list, under 50 grand, gets you into a Chevrolet Corvette C6 ZR-1. These cars had a 6.2 liter V8 supercharged engine that outputted about 638 horsepower. Yes, Chevrolet finally decided to compete with the likes of the Ferraris and the Lamborghinis on the world market and the world stage of supercars. This was one of Chevrolet's attempts at being competitive. And competitive they were. Back in the day when Chevrolet came out with the original Corvettes, the Corvettes were always more about flash, a little bit of blip of the throttle, and some great sound effects that you'd get from a V8 engine. But many of the generations didn't have a lot of go. They were more show than go. Then the late 60s came along and they created some large block engines. They created a lot of torquey engines that sounded good, and some of them were very, very quick, but still not really what you consider supercar because they didn't have great suspensions, they had weak brakes. So even though they went fast in a straight line, they really weren't intended to be supercar performers. Then along comes the 80s and they started strapping automatic transmissions in there, putting detuned, weak little V8 engines, and honestly became more of the old poser car. Then Chevrolet decided, we better get back on that world stage and compete with the likes of the Ferraris and the Porsches and the Lamborghinis and create something that is not only menacing looking, but actually goes like it should. So then they started creating Z06s, ZR1s, and some great models that really actually did put power to the ground. And that's why we're at the C6 ZR1 today, because that car did a 0 to 60 time of about 2.9 seconds, quarter mile, 10.5 seconds, and was able to top 205 miles per hour. That's right, folks, faster than the original Ferrari F40, all in a Chevrolet Corvette packaged, and you can find one of these now for under 50 grand. So the second car on my list for cars under 50 grand US that can crack 200 miles per hour goes to one of the class favorites, tuner favorites, and honestly all-around favorite for just about anybody who likes speed, and that is Godzilla. That is the 2007 to current model year Nissan GTR. That's right, the current GTR has been modified throughout the last several model years. However, overall, the basic fundamentals apply. V6 engine, twin turbocharged, strapped to a dual clutch transmission, outputting an immense amount of power, and it really defies the laws of physics when you consider it is almost 2 tons by weight, all-wheel drive. You would never expect a car to go this fast. But yes, that's right, Nissan GTR, 0 to 60 times, 2.9, quarter mile, just over 10 seconds, and yes, just shy of 200 miles per hour in the top speed. You don't need the Ferrari F40 levels of cost and performance and maintenance nightmareness to get into 200 miles per hour. A Nissan GTR will do very well. So the third car on my list that can crack 200 miles per hour for under 50 grand goes to the Dodge Charger Hellcat. That's right, the Hellcat. All 6.2 liter supercharged V8 worth that produces over 700 horsepower. That's right, 707 to be exact. This thing is a beast. And considering this beast could be had for about $70,000 when it was new, now they're under $45,000 on the used car market. They represent immense value. Where else can you find over 700 horsepower that you don't have to spend $500,000? That's right, the Hellcat, the SRT8 Hellcat by Dodge. This car has huge amounts of power. 0 to 60, 2.7 seconds, quarter mile, 10 seconds. And that's right, 205 miles per hour. Guess what? You have back seats, you have a trunk, lots of practicality, and ridiculous amounts of power. It shames just about any supercar on the market today yet. It is a great value and ridiculous performance, gets you to 200 miles per hour in the Dodge Hellcat. So the fourth car on my list goes to the 2001 Porsche 996 Twin Turbo. That's right, this is one of the actually latest and greatest of 911 turbos. It is actually the first liquid-cooled 911 turbo. This car was a flat six, 3.6 liters in displacement, twin turbocharged, produced 400 and almost 20 horsepower, 6-speed manual, automatic as well as an option. Don't want that because that won't crack the speed. Quarter mile time, 11.8 seconds at about 120 miles per hour. 0 to 60 times, 3.9 seconds. And it was a scorcher. Not only that, because it's the 996 body style, it wasn't very well loved by a lot of the Porsche files. And as a result, you can have phenomenal amounts of performance out of a lower cost 911 turbo just because a lot of people didn't care for the headlights or the affiliation with the 996 Carrera, which wasn't a particularly great car. That's right, this car also has one of the best engines ever made. It's the split case Metzger engine that was also shared with the GT1 911 GT1 race car. It truly is an amazing car through and through. Undervalued, underlooked, and honestly, it is a car that can crack over 190 miles per hour at the drop of a hat. And that's based on Porsche's stats. We all know, if any of you have owned Porsches before, you know all their numbers are very conservative. And given enough stretch of road, there's no reason you can't doubt that this car could touch 200 miles per hour. The 2001 Porsche 996 Turbo. And my fifth choice goes to, that's right, BMW E60 M5 with that amazing V10. Now I have to tell you, up until 2005, BMW M5s typically were great cars. They were great performance cars, luxury sedans that have a touch of power and performance and handling. But it wasn't until the E60 came out that BMW really stepped things up into the new echelon, created a car that could kill a lot of Ferraris. It could top out amazing top speeds. That glorious V10 produced some of the best sounds in the business. And with over 507 brake horsepower, that car had lots of power and lots of get up and go. 0 to 60 times, 3.9 seconds. Quarter mile, 13 seconds flat. How about this one? 155 miles per hour, sure, governed miles per hour. But if you did like many people did and you get a hold of one of the tuners, it has been proven time and time again on the internet. You see it all over YouTube on the Autobahn where people are able to achieve 205 plus miles per hour out of a 4-door sedan. 7-speed manual gearbox is what really helps that car along because it has such long legs. That's right, 205 miles per hour, guys. Nothing like it. The sound, the speed. This is truly one of the state-of-the-art cars from BMW, and you'll likely never see BMW reduplicate this effort. It is truly one of the best machines ever produced by the brand, and the big secret, I've seen them as low as $10,000. Just be careful though, the maintenance will burn you if you don't get a nice clean car. Be careful, but find the right car and you'll love it for life. And rounding out the sixth choice for me for 200 mile per hour cars that cost less than 50 grand goes to the W211 Mercedes-AMG E55. That's right, 5.4 liter supercharged V8 compressed, as in supercharging, that produced 469 horsepower and a massive 516 pound-feet of torque. That's right, it could do 0 to 100 miles per hour in about 9.5 seconds. Phenomenally fast. Luxury car, everything that Mercedes is known for in their luxury and style and class. And this car could actually hit 200 miles per hour in the ungoverned version. But just be careful. Those cars never really had the chassis to support those types of speeds, but the engine was there and it had the power and the grunt to get that car up to speed. So it is a ridiculous amount of car for the dollar. You can also get these cars for under 20 grand today. A vast amount of performance for a ridiculously low amount of money. So guys, everybody, I hope you enjoyed the video. Make sure if you liked it, you definitely check this video. You have to check this video next. Click on it. It's going to take you to the next awesome video by Exotic Car Play Place. Hope to see you guys soon. Catch you then. Bye-bye.